What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Norris November review for Martial Arts Monday. I reviewed Breaker Breaker, a CB radio slash trucking slash Chuck Norris kicking people mashup film on Saturday, and I commented on how that one was perhaps a little more primitive. Well, this is an even earlier film called Slaughter in San Francisco from 1974, an hour and 28 minutes, rated R, directed by Wei Lo. Which is a name that might be familiar to some of you. And I debated whether or not I was actually going to include this in a Norris November video. You know, for Way of the Dragon, I actually included that in my Bruce Lee playlist of films that I've reviewed, even though Chuck Norris has a pretty predominant part in that. I guess I could have done the same here. This is really like a Golden Harvest kung fu film set in the United States that happens to have Chuck Norris, more so than a Chuck Norris film. Everybody is dubbed, and a lot of the accents are kind of subtly British, including, it's kind of funny to hear American police captains going, I don't like it at all, but that's the way it is. This is also known as Yellow-Faced Tiger, by the way. And this film stars Don Wong. He's the main protagonist, and he's still around today, mostly appearing on TV series. He was actually a Korean actor who did a lot of work for Golden Harvest, and then I suppose some independent films. And I just talked about him last month. Well, I just reviewed a film he was in last month. I don't think I actually pointed out that he was the special guest star in The Devil Returns. He played the police inspector. Don Wong Tao. That's how they have him listed on the credits here. Go back and check out that review. That's more of a horror movie. But then also, as far as the director, Wei Lo, he directed The Big Boss and Fist of Fury, among many others. So go ahead and check out my Bruce Lee reviews. Let's say, warning, Chuck Norris may be hazardous to your health. Yeah, he's right on the poster, so sure, they capitalized on the fact that he was getting more popular. But he basically just plays the villain in this film. Lives in a big house, likes to exploit people, likes to manipulate people. And when he doesn't get his way, he likes to beat the hell out of you. It's not much more to say than that. The plot meanders a little bit. It's about two cops in San Francisco, and it kind of follows them around. And that actually is kind of cool. It almost feels like you're watching an episode of one of those 70s TV shows, cop shows. They see a couple in the woods, and they think there's some kind of an assault going on, but it's actually like a romantic interlude, so they have a laugh over that, but then they actually do save a woman from some predatory type figures. But then when they get to the police station, she doesn't want to press charges, and then the captain looks at them like, what's going on here, guys? And it kind of puts them in a funny spot. His partner gets targeted. He has to leave the force, but he still wants to investigate what happened to his partner. The big boss, at one point, played by Chuck Norris, just invites him over and says, why don't you come work for me? He pretty much says, I'll think about it, but he's not going to. And then you have lots of subplots. It turns out the police chief is a little bit corrupt. A dead body is found in the backyard of a family, and I think it's the parents of the young lady that we met in the beginning who declined to press charges. And they just kind of bust in and start questioning the father and implicate him. And, there's some real cover-ups going on here, and the police are dirty. And, Don Wong's character just, won't give up and has some confrontations with people in various locations, including warehouses and restaurants, and finally at the Chuck Norris's estate at the end. And I don't know where they filmed it. It looks like maybe it was like a campground. There's like a little shack in the background that looks like you would pull up to like a campground and check in, but there's a big house and a fountain, and they're going to end up in the fountain. You know that, right? So that's what happens, and it's pretty cool. The fights are pretty good. It's an okay movie. It just meanders a bit. There's nothing really surprising about it. There's not much more to say. Once you get about 20 minutes in, you're going to get the feel for it, and it's not really going to offer you too many surprises. But kind of interesting to see Chuck as the villain. And this is another film, obviously, set in San Francisco, just like A Force of One. They didn't shove it down your throat. It wasn't like Golden Gate Bridge establishing shots constantly. Most of it sort of took place in the suburbs, and it's kind of cool because of the hills. You're looking down on the city. I got a kick out of just watching it, just seeing the cars, just seeing those suburban neighborhoods, just taking all that atmosphere that 1970s feel in while I was watching the film. So for me, I really appreciated it. I usually don't check IMDb to see what anyone else has said. In this case, I just happened to take a gander, and most people have given this one a pretty good drubbing overall. But I personally think it's worth a watch. If you've never seen a Chuck Norris movie, this is probably not an entry point for you. This is more of a curiosity for real fans of, Golden Harvest era kung fu films, in the 70s. There you go. That's my review of Slaughter in San Francisco. Come back again for the rest of the month for some more Chuck Norris reviews. Later.